So welcome to another interesting session and another day, second day of the IOSH West Africa, Conference 2021. And this year we're looking at a better and safer future for workers, for business, and for West Africa. Now, in 2019, the government of Ghana, in collaboration with the IOSH leadership, signed a memorandum, which, among others, sought to ensure that the government of Ghana actually ensures that 5,000 people are trained in IOSH, in occupational safety and health. However, there was another thing, that is to ensure that Ghana signs that bill on occupational safety and health into an act by the end of the year. Now, today, we are here to look at whether it has been passed and what is the future of this bill. And I'm happy to have with me here today 4 great men and ladies from Ghana who are professionals in this field to discuss this topic with us. And the first person I want to introduce is Ernest Alazi. Ernest Alazi is a Tech IOSH, and he's a health and safety practitioner and with the Ghana Petroleum Mooring System, and he's the IOSH secretary for Ghana. Ernest, you're welcome.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thank you.
Next one is Kenneth Karikari. Kenneth Karikari is Grad IOSH, and he is also health and safety lead person for Dredge Masters Ghana, and he's the treasurer for IOSH Ghana. Ken, you're welcome.
Hello, everyone. Thank you.
The next person is the first lady of the team, that is Joanne Imbro. Joanne Imbro is the IOSH leader for the occupational safety and health leader for Baker Hughes, and she's a member of IOSH Ghana. Joanne, you're welcome.
Thank you, Sophia.
Now, the chairman himself of IOSH Ghana, that is Edward Debra, who is the team lead for ED Consult. He's also here with us. Eddie, chairman, you're welcome.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. So now we are talking about the Occupational Health and Safety Bill for Ghana. Now we want to see why has it been passed into a law? If it hasn't been passed, what is stalling the whole process? But before we do that, we want to call on Joanne to give us a put things into perspective for us so that we take it out from there. Joanne.
All right, thank you so much, Madam Sophia, and welcome everyone to today's session. I'm going to be giving a brief introduction to the Occupational Safety and Health Bill. Then we'll proceed on to the panel discussion. So over the last 40 decades, Ghana has seen an increase in industrialization, hence it's exposing workers to physical, chemical, and biological hazards in the workplace. And in the interest of ensuring the protection of workers from work-related injuries and illness, as well as preventing accidents in the industry, legal instruments were introduced in various sectors, and these were to control employers and employees. And these legal instruments included the Factories Office and Shop Act, the Workers' Compensation, Ghana Labor Act, etc. And they were working or operating under different agencies, such as the Department of Factories Inspectorate, and then the Labor Commission. Now, Ghana is yet to ratify the ILO Convention 155, and this is the ILO Occupational Safety and Health Convention 1981. And if Ghana had ratified this convention, it would have to comply with Article 4 of the convention, that is to formulate, implement, and review a national policy on occupational safety and health in the environment. However, we're not being able to do that because we're not ratified. But the conversation for national policy began anyway in 2007 when the Ghana Health Service published a report which stated that the challenges we are facing in occupational health and safety practice is as a result of the lack of a national policy. And the way forward was to bring the different generic occupational health and safety requirements under the different government agencies into one common body, so it will be regulated accordingly. So how far have we come since 2007? So there have been effective consultation with the relevant organizations, and this has had a positive impact on the successful formulation of the policy, which is yet to be passed into law. In terms of competency, there's a lot of human resource and trained safety professionals who will be championing and implementing this policy. And there's been a lot of collaboration in the industry as well. So delving into the Occupational Safety and Health Bill, it is to establish a Department of Occupational Safety and Health to secure the safety and health of persons at work. And it applies to workplaces except where it's exempted by the ministry. So let's look at the objective of the Act. The objective is to ensure we adapt to work and ensure there's the psychological, physiological needs of persons at work, thereby protecting the persons at work from injury, illnesses, etc. It's also to promote legislative framework which allows to introduce high standards of occupational safety and health in the workplace, and also to provide consultation and cooperation between employers, employees, and also promote achievement of the objectives of the Act. Functions as well. So the department is responsible for implementing national occupational safety and health policies and programs towards promoting and enforcing occupational safety and health standards in the workplace. It also to develop occupational safety and health regulations, codes of practices, guidelines, and codes and then regulations for ministerial approval. So just to highlight a few of the general duties that are outlined in the bill, the duties of the employer, training, risk management, which is very important, the health and safety committee, notification of accident, dangerous occurrences, and the notification of occupational diseases, as well as health surveillance. And finally, in terms of enforcement, occupational safety and health officers would be given the powers and the authority to inspect workplaces and to enforce this law, and to enforce the bill if it's passed into law at the various industries. And the safety officers will be indemnify, and organizations who fail to comply with the bill would be provided or would be given enforcement notices or prohibition notices, depending on the crime, or depending on the non-compliance with the bill. So that's it from me. Thank you for your attention. Over to you, Sophia, to continue with the panel discussion.
Thank you very much, Joanne. That was very insightful. I think it puts things into perspective for us, so we can take up the conversation from here. So, guys, let me start with Eddie. You are the chairman. Eddie, would you want to tell me what do you think is necessitating the need for this bill to be passed in Ghana?
Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak at this function or at this seminar. I feel that it is important for this to be passed because if we look at the number of accidents we've had over the years, I won't go too far, but start from 2015, workplace accidents that we've had. And if you look at the lives that have been lost and the properties that have been damaged, I think it's long overdue for this bill to be passed into law. Because I believe when it is passed into law, it will standardize the systems, it will expose us to the very reasons why we are supposed to do these things, and it will help control such accidents and ill health, death, and all that in the various industries in the country.
I see. Ernest, would you want to give us a possible scenario or give us some of the situation that pertains in your industry for which you think that this bill is a must? It must be passed into an act.
Well, thank you. So from where I sit, I'm just looking at how fragmented the legal requirements of the Occupational Safety and Health Act looks now. Because when you look at the various industries, let's say per what Joanne presented, you realize that there are pieces and bits all put, scattered, and with that, it becomes very difficult because they all operate under different jurisdictions. And responsibilities and accountabilities will definitely be a problem. So when this is put together to form one component, then I'll see that Ghana, who is a proud member of International Labour Organization, would find its way in aligning with the convention C155, which seeks that a member country formulate and then implement a national occupational and then safety, maybe a structure which will govern occupational health and safety matters. So I think from my point, it will help.
So it's gearing towards kind of standardization in the industry.
Yes.
Across, so that we align with other countries what is the best practice for countries. Ken, would you want to share with us some of how the situation is like in your sector? You are a dredge master with dredge masters. It means you're into marine and dredging.
Sure. Thank you so much, Sophia. A brief introduction about the marine sector. See, the world's oceans are one of our planet's most valuable environmental resources, as we all know, and seas happen to cover about 70% of the world's surface that seek to provide raw materials, the food we eat, employment, the place we live, and so forth. And there is an international maritime organization called IMO that has been set by the United Nations agency that's solely responsible for developing and adopting measures to improve safety and security of the shipping industry. But for that, it seeks to prevent pollution from ships. And this is a clear focus on the environmental sector. So it becomes conterminous for us to lineate this Ghana OSH Bill to the Maritime Convention, that is a MAPO. Today, safety is a very important factor that affects almost all aspects of the maritime industry. I can believe that at the time of the Titanic tragedy, legislations and regulations were still scarce at that time. That resulted in such a tragedy. So this bill will just point out dangers that's affecting the future of the marine safety with the aim of minimizing dangers, that is the material and then human losses, whilst we also maximize environmental preservation as well. Thank you.
Great, thank you. So it means that this is a very, very important act that is there to protect human lives and property and businesses. So what would you say has accounted for the delay in passing this bill? If I will start with you, Ernest.
So I won't want to look at delay. We are in democratic era where multi-party systems are allowed. And looking at the bill, we are looking at something that Parliament must sit on. So, for instance, when a political party changes hands, automatically there's going to be a delay in passing the bill. So I see it as one of the major factors delaying us. Yeah.
Okay. And Eddie, do you think there are any other factors?
Yes, there are. I think that we also want to consider consultation, because from Joan's submission, you would realize that there are several acts that are in place already. And those acts are all doing independent work. Assuming they are all together, or we come together and form a unit, they will be able to champion the cause far easily. And then again, you also want to look at collaboration and things like that. A lot of these institutions or acts are independent. I mean, if they collaborate with other acts, I think we'll be united and they will be able to chart that path. Also, you have to look at resource allocations as well. In everything in our part of the world, obviously, it's finance. So they will talk about no funds to be able to run this system. So I believe those are the things that are accounting for the delay in getting this bill passed.
Awesome. Wow. Ken, do you think there's anything outstanding, or they've said it all? Is there any other thing?
Yes, I think there's one thing outstanding. Currently, this bill seeks to replace our old Factories Inspectorate Act that we believe is failing in Ghana. And then this bill is holistic and so comprehensive that is going to set a whole national body at the top that supervises health and safety for all industries. If setting this framework for all industries to fit in, it could also form part of the delay.
Right. That's interesting. But okay, so I want you to take us through some of the practical scenarios you have encountered for which you believe that when this bill is passed, it will make life easier for us, or which makes the passing of this bill urgent. Let me start with Ken. What are some of the practical situations that is happening in the country that you think makes the passing of this bill urgent, that government will have to prioritize it?
Yes, it's quite urgent because if you could relate the incidents and accidents rate in Ghana, and most companies also deprive employees of certain rights, because in the maritime industry, for instance, there's a saying that the minimum number of hours you need to work is 12 hours, and then which is compulsory. So you can imagine that if you have such a bill that has been passed, at least we make sure that we don't stress employees that much. And if the employee feels that we care about their safety, personally, their morale will be up, and then it's going to increase productivity.
Right. Ernest, you double in the health sector and other areas. Are there any scenarios that makes the passing of this bill urgent?
Yes. Well, when you want to consider a typical scenario of record keeping, most of the health sectors have, or even I'll just make it general. Most of the institutions have a book that they normally call occurrence book. Okay. So when you look at this occurrence book, a lot of things will be doubled in there because whatever activity happens in the institution is captured raw. But when it comes to safety and investigation, we look at critical information. And these informations are the piece and bit we put together when the need arises for workman's compensation. Because you have to look for critical incident, what happened, what actually happened, and not just anything. So looking for information and then audit also is another thing. When you consider the health sector too, we have fire prevention systems, and that who actually accounts for them, who takes care of them. Are there emergency response plan? Assuming there's fire, God forbid, in some of our institutions, the health sectors, what are the plans? Are there scenarios that we have maybe intermittent drills? Let's consider this. So when this bill is put into perspective, there will be a body that will take care of this, a certain sector like the safety sector, which will take care of the fire protection systems, the drills, and because recently there was an incident in one of the Asian countries where there was fire broke out in one of the hospitals. And you can imagine someone who is not well and had to run for him or her life. And most people, it's on YouTube I saw, and in fact, it was very pathetic. So when this is passed into a bill, yes, it's going to really help us align. At least there was someone to be accountable and responsible for this.
You're right.
Thank you.
Right. Anyway, that's quite interesting. I'm sure there are a lot of scenarios. Eddie, you mentioned about the accidents that is occurring on our roads and in our workplaces. And I don't want to remind Ghanaians of the pain of 2015 when we lost over 150 lives because of some of these and explosion of gas. And after that, there's been a couple of gas explosions. And I think that this is quite urgent. But let me ask, what do you think will be some of the hindrances should we pass the bill? I mean, we are talking even passing it into an act. It's taking a bit of time. When it's finally passed into an act, do you think there will be any impediments in implementation? And what will be some of these impediments for its implementation? Its smooth implementation, if I should put it that way. Eddie.
Wow, this is going to be a tough one, but I'll try. So I think that Ghana is a democratic country, and over the years we pride ourselves with peaceful transition of power for about 4 or 5 times now. But I still think that government machinery runs quite slow when it comes to implementing changes in policies and the like. So one huge challenge that I foresee will be some political delays by way of interference. And I give an example. So let's just assume that the disaster that happened at Kwame Nkrumah Circle was as a result of a politically exposed person's negligence, it becomes very difficult to put such a person before the law courts for the person to be punished. In that case, calls will come from...
Okay, this is an assumption you're making, right? This is an assumption.
Exactly. Yes, that's what I started by. So let's just assume. Yeah, so it becomes very difficult for such a thing to be passed, and then enforcement will become a challenge. So for me, political interference will be one. Then again, we want to look at resource allocation. Is it going to be evenly distributed? Who is going to look after this? Are they going to have the human capital, the right human capital, I mean? And then are they going to have offices in every area of every sector or every district region in a country so that monitoring could be improved? How are these going to be there? The resources, are they going to be adequately trained? Would they be competent enough to carry out the task? All those things are issues that I feel will be a challenge with smooth passage and transition of the bill into law. But that notwithstanding, there's still light at the end of the tunnel.
Right, powerful. Ken, do you also foresee any impediments in the implementation of the act? Should it be passed today?
Sure. I foresee some impediments. Most Ghanaian employees now are mostly in the public sector, and then compare public sector to the private sector. Private sectors are doing quite well because most have already aligned themselves with international standards, which their management system is quite well and quite good. So it becomes very difficult for us to align the government institutions to fit into this bill. So it will take us quite some time, but I believe it's workable and achievable. But enrolling them on, I believe we should start with the private sector and gradually bring the government sector on board.
Wow. Anyway, and I just like asking this question. What are some of the benefits that this act or this bill to be passed into an act will bring to the worker?
Yes, to the worker, it's very, very essential, because when you have hope that you go to work and return back home same as you went and not to be met at the hospital, then there is confidence in you that at least there is hope. And then also looking at sustainability. When I know that where I work, at the end of the day, maybe I can work for this number of years without any accidents, without the company shutting down, at least there is surety. I can confidently say that I can take care of my family for quite a number of years. And not where, because the Occupational Health and Safety Bill is seeks to address and then make the workplace safer for us. And once the place is safe, sustainability is sure, and every worker will be happy. Yeah.
Oh, powerful. So, Eddie, I saw you nodding your head, and it means you agree to what he's saying. But let me ask this question: is it just about the worker, or is there any benefit in there for the companies or the institutions who are also to be governed by this act when it's eventually passed?
Okay, thank you for the question. Yes, there is. I mean, the benefits to the employer is actually enormous, in a sense that everybody sets up a business for profit. Now, if the right systems are there, standardization, competence, and all of that are there, one, you'll be able to avoid accidents, or you'll be able to reduce accidents. So when that is done, monies that you would have spent in trying to control, investigate accidents will be saved and still pushed back into the business so that the business grows. Number two, when you have the standards set up very well, you also realize that you'll begin to develop a very strong brand image. When the brand image is developed that well, you'll be able to appeal to other international clients that will support your business growth. Typical example is Zoomlion Ghana Limited. They started small in Ghana, but because of hard work and understanding the local laws, treating staff well, they have been able to expand to other countries in Africa, and I believe eventually they will get to Europe. So those are some of the benefits that this will bring eventually, because they are working with the higher standards. I know that they are accredited to the international standards of organizations, which supports them to do the right things, the right time, and the right way. In that instance, everybody trusts them, they begin to make more money. So I believe when it is passed, it opens up employers to making more money, expanding their business, employing more people, creating jobs, sustainable jobs to develop the economy.
That's quite interesting. So it means that there are a lot of benefits for both the employee and the employer.
Yes, absolutely.
Ken, do you want to add something to that as we prepare to round up?
Yes, I think what I could say to top up what Edward said was that when employees are safe, it increases their productivity and it improves the quality of work they do. So in the end, safety is quite paramount. So let's all push it.
Wow. So if this is it, then what are we waiting for? Is Ghana ready for this act? Now, guys, don't answer this. I want to bring back Joanne to answer this question for me and also use the opportunity to round up for us. Joanne, is Ghana ready for the Organizational Safety and Health Act to be passed, bill to be passed into an act?
Yes, of course. And, we've discussed the bill, and there's going to be a lot of impact in our industry, okay, where there will be accountability and responsibility and commitment. And we all want a safe and a productive workplace. So of course, Ghana is ready. It's going to bring a lot of standardization to our occupational safety and health sector in Ghana. There's going to be a lot of consultation. Although there are delays with the implementation and also with the passing of the bill, I believe that once it is passed into bill, it is going to really help the industry to work safely. The resources, of course, are available. Human resources, there are lots of safety professionals in Ghana. Financial resource, obviously, it's available. And there's a lot of industry support for the passage of this bill. And as my colleagues have said, there's a lot of benefit to employers. So the bill is ultimately to put in place systems to protect lives and property. So in fact, and indeed, Ghana is ready for the Occupational Safety and Health Bill.
Most definitely, Ghana is ready for the passage of this bill into an act. And if you consider the benefits it has for the country, for employers and for employees. And of course, if Ghana, we are presenting ourselves as the gateway to Africa, then we must be among the first to pass this bill into an act. It's become an issue of urgency, and we want to call on the government and other agencies that are responsible for this to ensure that this is done. It's been wonderful having a chat with you. We would now give the opportunity to our audience and the viewers to also ask their questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're trying to get Madam Sufa in. I think there's a bit of a network issue. However, so we have a few questions. And so it says, Sufa, I also think occupational safety and health practitioners in Ghana have not done enough because they could sponsor a private member bill. If that is what Parliament needs to enable it pass the bill. Edward, can you help with that? You think the occupational safety and health practitioners in Ghana can take it up upon themselves to have a private bill passed?
Yeah, I think that can be done. I'm not sure any works have gone on yet, but I can see few people talking to key people, key personalities in government to help push it. I believe if we come together as a united front, we'll be able to do more. So this is a challenge I'm going to throw to everybody, all OSH practitioners in Ghana. Let's come together under one umbrella and try to chart this path. If we come together, I believe we'll be able to get the private members bill through and hopefully get passed. at the end of the day, we have to break it down to the understanding of the parliamentarians, because I believe one of the key reasons why it hasn't been done is probably an understanding of the entire thing and its effects on the economy. If you're able to draw these lines to them clearly, I believe it would make sense to them and they will support the passage of it.
Okay. Ernest, would you want to add something to that?
Well, thanks, Ovea. It's a very good point raised by Ajiman. We see that the private sector also definitely have something to do about this. Apparently, you see a lot of voices regarding the petition that almost everyone is signing in, by way of pushing government to pass the bill. I think this is a clear indicator that people are actually working and pushing. But when you come to Ghana and we look at compliance, if you want compliance to really work, then it must start from somewhere. Because when you look at these, the private sectors, most of them are doing so well when it comes to occupational health and safety, because some are affiliated to, international bodies and their best practices are actually working. But to have it really work, if it comes from government side, then, almost every person or every institution in Ghana stays under the umbrella of the Ghanaian laws. So when Ghana says yes, then who are you under the umbrella to say you will not comply? Right? It's one of the good things that we have to look at. But Ajiman's point is well noted, and private sector, I think they are doing well, but they can do better.
Okay. From Frank Akwete, he says you should kindly address the lack of political will to pass the Occupational Safety and Health Bill. How can we push the legislature to get it done? Kenneth?
Yes, thank you so much. Currently, our Minister for Employment and then Labor Relations is the head of a whole body. Currently, the body or the umbrella that we are on is Offices, Factories and Inspectorate Act. And that is what we believe that it hasn't done much. So we're pushing for this OSH Bill. But for the last parliament, just after the 2020 elections, the bill was raised before parliament. And then this year, after election, government hasn't been done with electing its members yet. But for information that I've received from the Ministry of Employment and Labor Relations, it has also been raised at the floor of parliament. And then the Minister for Employment has also given the assurance, has also met some safety institutions. They met GSEP, and then GSEP is a Ghana Institution for Safety and Environment practitioners. They've met them, they have one-on-one closed-door meetings, and they're giving the assurance that hopefully this year they'll raise the bill at the floor of parliament, and then they'll make sure they'll pass it.
All right, great. Thank you so much. Also from Frank Akwete, he wants to know, yes, he agrees, but how many occupational safety and health practitioners are in Ghana? Okay, and he also says that the TUC is able to cut the government's attention because of their numbers. What's your view on that? Ernest, what's your take on that? And then we'll have Edward also addressing that.
Yes, the Trade Union Congress is one of the strongest bodies in Ghana. And we all realize that their voice, anytime they chant up, government acts. So his point is indeed valid. And so they can influence their member bodies, okay, by way of pushing from that angle. And certainly we'll all get there, because occupational health and safety is a problem for all, and we all want that to be institutionalized, and it will help us sustain our businesses.
Edward, what's your take on that? Do we have enough occupational safety and health practitioners in Ghana to be able to push this bill at the parliament to pass this bill?
Yes, I think we do. By and by, day in, day out, people are still nurturing the interest in getting into the profession. So I think we do. However, one thing that I think we can do to catch TUCs and the CSOs and all those people's attention is to begin to drive home the point of the various accidents that we've had, those preventable accidents. If we can give them real cases, why we think those things could have been avoided, and look at the fact that those are all ways of losing talent. I mean, the country, you could talk of road accidents by BRVs, board road bulk road vehicles. And you could talk about the Kwame Nkrumah Circle disaster, the Atomic Junction one, the Trade Fair one. Those are landmark cases that claim the lives of people. So if we are considering an SDG goals and we want to protect our people, a few months back, our president made a profound statement that our economy can always be built, but our people who die cannot be brought back. So if that is anything to go by, when we begin to prioritize the lives of people, then CSOs, TUCs, all civil servant organizations will come together. We can have one voice to still talk about it. Then it will be passed. Because when you look at the Right to Information Bill, you saw how the media jumped on it and they talked about it. That same way, if we position ourselves as OSH professionals and we get our message out there clearly, I believe it will send a good signal and government will begin to look at it.
Okay. So Ajima Kwampa comes again with the statement. He says that we have the safety, the factories inspectorate departments. Why can't they enforce the occupational safety and health standards?
Yes.
Who will take that? Okay, Ernest.
Yeah, so per your presentation, when we started, you mentioned several legislature governing health and safety. So when you go to the Mineral Act, there's something different for the Mineral Department. When you go to the hospitals, we have something different. When you come to the general, as you mentioned, Ajman mentioned, the inspectorate department. So in a nutshell, the health and safety are just fragmented. The laws are fragmented. And in health and safety, responsibilities must be very clear so that people will be accountable at the end of the day. And that is why it is essential to have a unique or a one body that will govern all the health and safety staff in Ghana, regardless of the institution. And I think with that one, it will help. And Ajiman Okwampa will agree that when you have one institution which is responsible, then accountability will be very sure. We know where to go for information when we need it. So,
okay. So we have Imelda Kujo, who asks that getting the bill passed is a laudable idea, but my main concern are market women. What measures would be put in place to educate them on health and safety measures? Yes, Kenneth can take that. Are market women?
Okay. Well, this question is very tough, but I'll try. You see, our nature of our market is also different compared to markets in Europe and other Asia. I think by and large, we could also sensitize them by organizing trainings through the AMAs or the KMAs or other municipal agencies that could also explain to them about the importance of protecting their health and managing their safety as well. So if there are more trainings, there are more forums that we organize and we engage these market women, not only engaging them when you want to build markets or you want to expand the market, but at least you need to engage them when, it shows that we care about them. And that's exactly what this OSH Bill has come. See, this OSH Bill has just come to, integrate the already fragmented sectors that we have in Ghana, as my brother Ernest has said. So if through forums and trainings and this engagement with market women, I believe it's going to go a long way to also help them, because most of the market women are, some are the illiterate. So at least engaging them, they'll also get to understand about safety as well.
Don't you think this Occupational Safety and Health Bill is targeting the large organizations? How about the SMEs?
I don't think so, John. Sorry, I don't think so. I don't think so. And this is why I don't think so. Everybody dies. Death is no respecter of persons in large organizations, small organizations, and all of that. What I see has been the main challenge for this is the communication bit, because our system is so wide, the literate are not as many as compared to the illiterate. The illiterate most of the time do not get any information on some of these things we are talking about. I'll give you a clear example. About a year ago, I was invited to a local TV station to go talk about safety. Right after the session, in a local language, right after the session, the number of calls I had and the number of people who needed clarification, trust me, was enormous. So clearly, it tells you that the communication is not being done properly. We are having one channel communication where we are only using English as a tool and talking to people who can already read and write. To add to what Kenneth said, there's a time we need to decentralize. The National Commission for Civic Education, all those people need to come in, go to the rural areas, share the message to them in the language that they can understand and appreciate. When they do, then they will begin to take things serious. If you look at risk assessment, for instance, until you conduct it and explain to the person what really is going on, a lot of people on the face value will not see why they should conduct all that. So I feel that if we decentralize more, try to speak in the languages that they can really understand and appreciate, it would improve on their understanding. And when that happens, then they will begin to shape up how they behave, because knowledge is power. And for the lack of the same knowledge, my people will perish.
Thank you so much, Edward. Ernest, you want to add to it?
Yeah, regarding our mothers from the market side. Yes, a typical example is the Kaneshi market. We all testify that Kaneshi market has been there without fire. They've not recorded fire incident before, if my records are right. This shows you that a lot of work has gone in there. And sometimes you hear the women saying a lot that they come around, the firemen come around to teach them that they don't set up fire, they don't do that. What it means is that when education is given, it will definitely go down well with them. And the OSH Bill will definitely appoint some people who are safety inspectors, and that will be going around. So with this one, we'll all get there. And the other markets that we normally record rampant fire, at least all these things will go down, and then they all align like the Kaneshi market, which is a living testimony.
Okay, so we have just a few minutes to round up. So I just want to go around to each of the panelists to give, their final remarks.
Sure.
So Kenneth, yeah.
Sure. If I could come in lastly, I think this year IOSH Ghana has done so well and has organized so many seminars, webinars, to show Ghanaians, to educate them about our safety and our health, about how to manage our environment as well. And then after this conference, we're also going to, liaise with other institutional bodies to intensify the seminars. If we are supposed to make it every month, but moving forward, we're going to intensify it, going on TVs, going on radios, to make a lot of noise about it, to let people know that safety is paramount and safety is important. So we should also protect it.
Yeah, thanks, Kenneth. Ernest?
Yes, to add up to what my colleague just said, yes, the West African Conference is a platform that the young guys can connect. So please make use of it, share the links with other professionals to connect and then learn, because it's a good platform. And then people should also align, because there are good packages from IOSH that people can learn from. And this time signing on is made very easy and it's very cheap, unlike the other days where the COVID has actually come in, and IOSH has understood this and made it very accessible. So please, let's advise our employers to also help and foot these bills, because as health and safety practitioner, you have nothing to boast of than to belong to a professional body. Thank you.
Edward?
Right. So I would like to say that IOSH is also ready now with arms open to help with the technical drafting of the policy if need be. So if there's any need for support, government can call on IOSH for that much needed support. And then again, we also have to prioritize our own lives. I mean, employers, we should look at health and safety as a good business. Good health and safety practice is good business. In that, once you're able to reduce accidents at the workplaces, you save a lot of money that will help you improve your business, grow your business, and make it bigger. Employees as well, if they are able to go to work, come back home in one piece with no accidents and stuff like that, it also motivates them to do more. So I feel that we should continue on this edge and try to push it more. It's an opportunity, as Ernest said, for everybody to join IOSH, all OSH professionals. There's mentoring platform, there's a lot of things, networking and stuff going on. Take advantage, join us now, get 30% off the subscription and be part of the winning team.
Great. Thank you so much, team. And it's a very great session that we just had. And of course, Ghana is ready to pass the Occupational Safety and Health Bill. And it's going to be a great benefit to all Ghanaians, including the market women. So thank you all for joining. And we go on to our next sessions with the IOSH conference. Thank you.
Thank you, and remain safe.